A top U.S. general was just fired, asked to step down by Pete Hegseth while we are in the middle of our illegal, offensive, and immoral war against Iran. And spoiler alert, it seems like the reason was he was just too qualified to be in the position. I kind of wish I was kidding. And then, real quick, before we go over that story, I want to go over a little bit of controversy that Pete Hegseth has found himself in, and how he is interfering with the promotions of other officers. And surprise, surprise, well, most of them turn out to be either women or minorities, so that is great. Let's go ahead and get into that first, and then we will get into the firing of a top U.S. general here in a moment. So Hegseth has intervened in military promotions for more than a dozen senior officers. The process within the Army, the Air Force, and the Navy, the Marines is structured to ensure the most qualified officers get promotion. Hegseth's decision to intervene in the process has raised concerns among some officials within those military branches in the White House, the 9 U.S. officials familiar with the situation said. There is not a single service that has been immune to this level of involvement by Hegseth, one of the U.S. officials said. 2 of the officials said that there are concerns in the military and the White House specifically that Hegseth is blocking or stalling some qualified officers from receiving promotions through the ranks of general and admiral because of their race or gender, as he targets diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives at the Pentagon. There is also concern that Hegseth could be singling out military officers whom he views as aligned with officials or policies of the Biden administration, the official said. Hegseth, who declared an end to woke culture at the Defense Department last year. It's so dumb, man. Like, what do you mean? Like, they can't even define what DEI or woke in the military is unless you're talking about, like, yeah, I mean, one of them I know is the rules of engagement. So basically, like, that prevents us just from massacring any group that we find overseas. So that's one thing. The other thing that's woke is he just came out now and said, like, oh, yes, our military members are going to be able to carry their personal firearms on base now. Yeah, that's great because like the biggest threat to our US bases are our own troops when they decide to go crazy and start shooting. So yeah, take that as you will. What else? What else? I guess beards are DEI and woke, even though we all know why he got rid of the whole allowing beards, and that's because black service members have a certain like it's very common in with black people, the black community. Why am I saying this like I'm I'm like some out of touch boomer? Black people have this condition. I can't remember what it's called, but a lot of them, it's like when they shave, it gets like very irritated and very bumpy, and it's just painful. It's awful. So a lot of them, rightfully so, get waivers so that they can have like a certain amount of facial hair so that they're not like just destroying their skin every time they want to shave. Hegseth did away with that. So, yeah. Anyways, has publicly accused the military of awarding promotions based on diversity rather than merit. Not all promotions for officers who are women or members of racial minority groups have been blocked or delayed during his tenure as secretary. 4 of the U.S. officials familiar with the process said. So, in all fairness, he didn't block any of them, but like, he knows that if he just went and blanketed blocked like all women and like all minorities, it would be a lot more obvious. So I think this is just to say like, oh, I'm friends with black people. I have a black friend. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, 2 officials said that among the attributes Hegseth has cited for removing officers from promotions are past support for COVID vaccines or mask mandates for troops. Absolutely insane. Like, oh, you believe in modern medicine? You believe in trying to protect others from an illness, a pandemic? How dare you? That's woke. That is gay. Which were enacted during the Biden administration, or whether officers were affiliated with DEI programs, potentially being women or members of racial minority groups, or promoted or worked on such initiatives. So yeah, just trying to, make people more accepted and try to get rid of like racial biases and stuff like that. Yeah, that's gay. That's woke. How dare you? We hate minorities. We hate gay people. is pretty much what we're getting from that. In recent weeks, Hegseth blocked 3 Marine officers who were expected to be promoted or appointed to new roles, 2 women and a black man, according to 5 of the U.S. officials familiar with the decision. None of the Marines were the subjects of internal investigations that might raise concerns about moving forward with their promotions. According to 2 of the officials, Marine Corps leaders recommended their promotions, but Hegseth refused to allow their selections to move forward despite attempts by the Corps' leadership to intervene, the 2 officials said. A list of naval officers who had been selected to be promoted to 1-star admiral had been held up for more than a month as it sits on Hegseth's desk. According to 3 of the officials, a list of promotions typically would move through the process more quickly. According to the 3 officials who expressed concerns that some of the Navy officers on the list could be removed because of their race or gender. Christ. The Army's list of promotions this year included about 30 officers to become 1-star generals and went to the White House around mid-March, then to the Senate on Monday, but only after Hegseth struck the 4 names from it, according to 5 U.S. officials. While Hegseth removed 2 women and 2 black officers from the Army's list, the list that progressed to the Senate did include some women and racial minority officers. Again, refer to what I said back earlier. According to the 5 officials who said they believe race and gender played a role in Hegseth's removal of the other officers. If there are no open allegations or investigations, what was the reason they were removed from the list? One of the officials said. They have all deployed and done their jobs and are all combat tested. And yeah, so a little bit of fun there. Not too surprising. It's kind of what's been going on since Hegseth was appointed. Anyways, regarding the removing of a top Army general during the Iran war, let's read. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has asked Army Chief of Staff General Randy George and 2 other military leaders to leave their post, 2 defense officials confirmed to Axios. And there's like no way this guy was woke or DEI or anything like that, because look at him. Like, just Google General Randy George and look at pictures. This dude looks like a stone cold killer, okay? He looked like your typical, like, I don't know, like movie portrayal of like this hard, rugged military veteran. Anyways, why it matters, George is the Army's most senior general and is being removed during the Iran war. Axios could not immediately confirm the reasons for his ouster, which was first reported by CBS. General David Hodney plus Major General William Green Jr. have been removed from their positions, a defense official confirmed on Thursday evening. The big picture, then President Biden nominated George in 2023 for the role, which is typically a 4-year term. Hegseth asked him to retire immediately, the defense official said. Wow. So that explains it. He was appointed by Biden, and you can't have any of that. These people are so freaking petty, man. Oh my God. George began his career as an infantry officer and deployed during Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm. Among others, he previously served as the Army's Vice Chief of Staff. Hodney served as commanding general of the Army's Transformation and Training Command, and Green headed its Chaplain Corps. What they're saying, Pentagon spokesperson Sean Parnell confirmed George's firing in a Thursday afternoon X post that offered George well wishes for his retirement. Axios interviewed George last week during a visit to Louisiana when he observed the 82nd Airborne Division training. He did not discuss the Iran war. Elements of the 82nd Airborne are now on their way to the Middle East. Zoom in, George and Army Secretary Dan Driscoll launched the Army Transformation Initiative last year. The involvement combining some of the services commands and axing outdated and excess vehicles and aircraft, like AH-64D Apaches. Zoom out, George is the latest in a string of generals and admirals to be removed by Hegseth over the past year. Southern Command boss Admiral Alvin Halsey left his post during the operation to target alleged drug boats off Venezuela, which he was overseeing. What's next? General Christopher Leneve, once an aide to Hegseth, will serve as acting Army Chief of Staff. So yeah, the Russification of the U.S. is almost complete. We have the Oval Office looking like someone pissed all over it. We have an illegal war that's shown how much of a paper tagger we really are. And of course, now we have the constant canning of military officials while we are in the middle of that failed war. Sounds a lot like Russia and Ukraine, doesn't it? Like, Russia was considered like the second, or at most, or at least I should say, the third strongest military in the world. And then they went into Ukraine and got their shit rocked, a country that's bordering them. And now we're kind of seeing something similar with us in Iran. And now we're just firing generals and military leaders like we're flailing. Might be a little bit controversial, but this is like one of those things where I'm kind of fine with, where you're firing a very competent person because like war, death, and destruction is not something I want to be done competently. So if you're going to put someone in there who is less qualified and less competent and is probably going to be more ineffective at getting the administration's goals, whatever the heck they are, through, then honestly, I can't be that upset. Anyways, that's all I have for this one. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one. If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below. And if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply to any and all comments that I can. Until next time, watch that video on screen.